Hello once again, mentors. It's nice to see you, sort of, you know what I mean? I wish I could see you. I wish we could all be together in a school or in a room somewhere nice doing this together, but we can't, thanks to our friend COVID. But it is nice to be with you once again. This is, of course, Jack the lad from the Love Local Jobs Foundation, back with another series of very short videos for you to give you an insight into what I've been talking to the students about, or what I'm going to be talking to the students about the next time I see them all as we continue our journey through the programme. The next time I see them, we're very much going to be talking about things that come under the umbrella of inspire. Really want to try and inspire the students the next time I see them to really reach out for the dreams that they have and to really sort of give them the courage and the belief to go on and achieve the things that they want to achieve. So before we get into it for this next set of videos, ahead of my next visit to the schools, just a quick recap on some of the stuff that we talked about, or the big main points that we covered on the first set of videos, where we talked about school and self-awareness. Of course, we were talking about how they get on at school, how they feel about school, and how they are at school when it comes to their peers. Are they a decent student? Do they find themselves to be a bit of a scoundrel or whatnot? And you were going to give some of your own sort of experiences there. We also talked about identity, something that I'm sure you could pick up, and I'm very, very passionate about, you know, being true to who you are, not mugging yourself off, and not selling your soul to try and be what other people expect you to be, but about being who you are and being proud of who you are. So identity we covered. The fact that the grades will not define them in their careers. We spoke about the fact that if you leave school or college without the grades that you think you need, or that you were told you need, that isn't going to define who you are, and how an employer will always employ a person over a piece of paper, and then employability skills and how important they are. And then finally, we talked about self-belief with a little help from the amazing Serena Williams, who was talking about how she believed in herself from a very young age, but she knew she'd have to be disciplined. She knew she'd have to work hard, but she always believed in herself and in her ability. And she always believed that she would get to the very, very top, which of course she did. So I've got another little selection of videos for you now ahead of your next virtual conference with your students. I hope the first one went well. I did mention more than once that I hope you do manage to get the students to engage with you. I do encourage them to do this when I'm in the schools, because I know that it's tricky for them at that age, especially with someone they haven't met down the other end of a computer screen. So I hope they engaged. I hope they opened up to you about what we talked about and how they're feeling about some of them topics, and I hope they engage with you when you see them for your next virtual mentoring session. And we're going to cover a few more topics this morning that I've gone through with them, or will be going through with them when I see them, and more sort of skills and more attributes that they can really, really use and implement to help them not only be the best person they can be, but also to make them the best possible employee they can be, to make them the best version of themselves, so that when they're sat in front of someone during a job interview, which we're going to talk about a little bit later on in another video, the fact that they actually shine through and make someone think, do you know what, I love the qualities of this young person and I'm going to give them a chance. But before we get into that, as I said, inspire is very much the umbrella that I'm talking to you under for this little section of videos. And I really, on my next visit to the schools, want to get them to understand that they can dream big, and that those dreams can become a reality if they implement everything that you and I and the foundation are telling them to implement. And one of those things is to implement the fact that they shouldn't have to settle for second best. And I do that with the help of a man coming out of a rhino's backside. This is, of course, Jim Carrey, one of the funniest men in the world. And this is a scene from his film Ace Ventura, Pet Detective 2, When Nature Calls. Let's just not look at that much more, because now he actually looks very, very different, does Jim Carrey. Big thinker is Jim Carrey nowadays. Great talker as well, just like Matthew McConaughey from the first set of videos that I sent you. And Jim Carrey does a lot of work over in the States talking at what are called commencement speeches, which essentially are like sort of, I think over here, I mean, I never went to uni, I think they call them like passing out ceremonies or something like that, graduation ceremonies or whatnot. And Jim Carrey is a brilliant speaker, and he gets asked to go and talk at these all over the United States. And I'm going to play you a clip of Jim Carrey speaking at one of these commencement speeches And he talks about aiming high, dreaming big, and having strong aspirations. And he uses his dad as an example of this. I'm going to play you the clip. I know you're going to love it. It's very, very powerful. It's only about a minute and a half long. And then I'll come back off the back of the clip and we'll have a chat about some of the messages that he tries to get across in what he says here. So this is Jim Carrey.
So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for it. My father could have been a great comedian, but he didn't believe that that was possible for him. And so he made a conservative choice. Instead, he got a safe job as an accountant. And when I was 12 years old, he was let go from that safe job. And our family had to do whatever we could to survive. I learned many great lessons from my father, not the least of which was that you can fail at what you don't want. So you might as well take a chance on doing what you love.
It is an extraordinarily powerful quote. I really do believe that. You can fail at what you don't want. You can fail at what you don't even want to be doing. So you may as well take a chance on doing what you love. And I play that clip to the students and I really encourage them to take that on board, because one of the things that we talk about is that we spend a long time at work. We spend a lot of time at work. Why should you at any point settle for something that you don't want to do before you've even had a crack at doing what you know will make you feel happy, that you know will make you feel inspired? And I say to these young students, you know, no one has got the right, no one, not your parents, not your teachers, not your peers, not your siblings, not your friends, no one has got the right to ever tell you to settle for second best before you've had a crack at doing what you really want to do, before you've really chased down that dream. And I think a lot of young people now, they get told too often that they can't. And I don't think that is right, because I think what you're doing when you tell someone they can't is I think you are taking away their dreams and you're taking away all the hope they have of going on and becoming something brilliant. And when I'm in the schools, I employ the students to, I mean, if you look at this slide, it's very powerful, because if you look at all the words in red, they make you feel alive. And if you look at all the words in blue, they make you feel almost defeated. And I implore these young people to not accept a job that makes them feel unfulfilled, makes them feel like a failure, makes them feel practical and safe and stale. And I encourage them to find a job that is all the words in red, something that makes them feel passionate, that makes it feel like an adventure, that makes them want to fight, that excites them, that inspires them. And I say to them, no one's got the right to tell you that you can't go and find that, and you can't go and chase that dream down. It's a very powerful clip, the Jim Carrey clip, and I think we could probably all use it at some point in our lives, because you shouldn't just settle for second best, especially if you haven't had a crack at doing what you love. And that, when you have your next virtual mentoring session with your students, is the first thing I'd like you to talk about, if you can. Again, don't worry, we will be sending you a booklet. It's got all the sort of questions, conversation starters in there to help remind you of the content of what we talk about. But yeah, aiming high, dreaming big is very much sort of the first chunk that I'd love you to have a chat with your students about. And I'd like you to tell them, first of all, from your own point of view, you know, did you know what you wanted to do when you was at school, and did you have a crack at it? Did you chase that dream down? And if you didn't, do you look back and regret that? And at the same time, you know, for the students, do they have an idea of what they want to do? Do they have an idea of a job that would make them feel those words in red? And if they do, have they already started formulating a plan on how they might get there? You know, for instance, we talk about young people, lots of young people want to work with animals, want to be a vet. You know, have you maybe thought about work experience or a Saturday job volunteering at an RSPCA or at the PDSA? If you wanted to be a doctor or a nurse, have you done a St John's ambulance course? Sort of ways to give yourself a head start against all the others just by being proactive and trying to find a way to get your foot in the door. So yeah, there you go. As I say, these conversation starters, these questions, they will be in the booklet that we will send you here. You'll get it from the foundation ahead of your next virtual meeting. But that would be the first chunk for you to have a chat about. It would be dreaming big, aiming high, raising your aspirations and chasing down a dream. in a few, when you next check me out, we'll be chatting about resilience and the importance of that, the importance of being strong, the importance of being motivated to keep moving even when things are going against you. So I will see you in the next video.